At the end of my last video, I told you Anthropic builds something that turns Claude into a whole team. Marketing, bookkeeping, admin purpose built for a business like yours. This is it. It's called Claude for Small Business. If you're already paying for Claude, this is free. It's not a new subscription. It's a plugin that you flip on. By the end of this video, you'll have it all set up. You know exactly what's inside. And you'll watch it run all 3 real jobs for an example shop. And I'll give you my honest take on who should actually use it. Let's get into it. Quick recap if you're new here. I'm Donovan. I spent about 10 years in IT. I consult for small businesses on their tech. And this channel makes AI generally useful for people who run a business and don't have time to become technical. Last video, we went 0 to pro on Claude Cowork. Today, we build directly on that. Now, I could describe this product to you from memory, but I'd rather we read Anthropic's own page together. So everything I claim in this video, you're seeing straight from the source. URLs in the description. Here's the pitch, right there on the top. Out of the weeds and into the work. That's pretty much the whole product in 6 words. Claude connects to the tools you already use and starts doing the work. If you scroll down, they made 4 promises right here on the page. First, ready from day one. One toggle installs everything. No lengthy setup, no help from IT. Second, you delegate the work, but you own the decisions. That isn't a chatbot answering questions. That's the whole workflow end to end. Third, it works with your existing tools. And look at this list. PayPal, QuickBooks, HubSpot, Canva, DocuSign, Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, Slack, and more. If your business runs on even one of these, keep watching. Fourth, built for trust. They say it plainly. They don't train your data, you approve each step. And notice, these testimonials aren't from tech companies. Coffee company COO, an energy company's operation manager, a drinkware brand CEO talking about tedious work disappearing. Real small and mid-sized businesses quote on Anthropic's own page. That's your peer group, not Silicon Valley. Now, 3 things that it is not, because the headlines got this wrong. 1, it's not a new pricing model. It's bundled into Claude Cowork on a standard plan, and we'll read the exact cost off this page FAQ here in a minute. 2, it's not a replacement for QuickBooks or HubSpot. It works inside them next to your existing data. And 3, the big one. It's not an autonomous robot that runs inside your business. Nothing sends, nothing posts or pays without you approving first. You saw the permission modes in the last video. That is the same philosophy wired into your actual business tool. Claude does the work, you stay the boss. Setup is generally short, as you can see here in the install the plugin section of the page. We're going to read the requirements off the tutorial page. What it costs. The FAQ is word for word on the screen. Standard list price, Claude Pro if it's just you, Claude Team if it's your whole business. That's it. The plugin itself adds nothing. If you're already paying for Claude like we set up in the last video, you already own this. Check claude.com/pricing for current numbers. Right here in the how it works section of the page near the top, it all runs in Claude Cowork in the desktop app only. Not the web version, not the phone, the desktop app. Here in the install the plugin section, right underneath the how it works section of the page, Anthropic lists the steps here. So let's do them together live. So to download the plugin, we'll click on the download button right here on the page. When I click on the install button, it will navigate me to a new tab. Right up here towards the right side of the page, I'm going to click on the Claude Cowork link. A pop-up may show up for you. Given the browser permission to open Claude Desktop, let's click on Open Claude button. This will open Claude Desktop and navigate straight to the Claude for Small Business plugin overview page. Once this window is opened up, on the far top right, click on the Install button. That should take just a few moments to install. And now we have the plugin successfully installed, as you can see here on the top right of this pop-up. We can also confirm by closing this directory window, and you'll see the Claude for Small Business plugin listed here in the plugins window. The FAQ even answers, do I need IT to set this up? With a flat no. And I'll co-sign on that as an IT guy. Now, the clever part. After the plugin is installed, you open up a new session and literally type "Get me started." It helps you pick the first connector, explain the access you're approving, and run a first job end to end, so you'll see the value before you connect everything. See? It's telling me exactly what access this connection grants before I approve it. So let's go over this real quick. I can see right over here where it says SMB-onboard. That means it's using a small business connector skill inside of the Claude Small Business plugin. And then over here it says coffee shop details and ask me a few questions as far as what business headaches I have and what tools I'm currently using within my business to then set up the connectors for those applications. I have the option to skip or continue. I'm not going to run this quite yet because it's using a previous fictional business, Riverbend Coffee Co., from the previous Claude video I did. I would instead like to use another fictional business for the remainder of this video to keep things versatile. One thing on connections, and this trips people up. Claude inherits the permission of the account you connect with. Connect QuickBooks as an employee with limited access, and Claude sees that limited data. If you wanted to do owner level work, connect it as an owner. And if you're nervous about data, don't take my word for it. Let's go back to the FAQ we just read. Do you train on business data? There's the answer. It's one word: no. And the safety answer is the key mental model. If an employer can't see something in Gmail or DocuSign today, they can't see it through Claude either. Your existing permissions are the fence. There's a whole trust link right here if you want to go deeper. I'll have that in the description too. Before we open the library in the app, look at this section of the page because Anthropic did something unusually useful here. They published the actual prompts. See right here? And you can click through these tabs. So you have payroll, month and close, morning briefs, growth. If you click month and close tab, they show you a full example close packet, a plain English PL narrative, even flagging items with how much was handled. That's not a marketing copy, that's a deliverable. And keep these prompts in mind because the 3 demos I'm about to run are adapted straight from them. Now, let's head back to the app and we'll navigate to the actual library. 6 departments. I'll show you the headliners in each because a few of these are generally impressive. Now to navigate to the library, if you come over here on the top right menu, click on Customize. From there, a window should pop up. And then from this window, you're gonna click on Plugins. And then up here at the top right, you'll click on Browse. And this is the directory with the plugins listed. Finance, this is the deepest section. Payroll planning, it settles your QuickBooks cash, positioned against upcoming PayPal settlements, builds a 30-day forecast, ranks what's overdue, and queues the reminder emails for your approval. And the month-to-end close, it reconsolidates your books, flags what doesn't match, writes a plain English P&L, and exports a closed packet that you can forward straight to your accountant. If you're ever a paid bookkeeper hourly, that's what you're doing the math for right now. Sales and marketing. HubSpot's lead triage so new leads get scored and routed instead of sitting in an inbox. Customer pulse, campaign attributions, and all through Canva. Actually content generation for your channel with publishing and performing tracking. Operations and admin, DocuSign contract flow, send a signature, track status, file the executed copy where it belongs, plus everyday document inbox work through Google Workspace or Microsoft 365. HR and customer service, onboarding checklists, draft customer replies, the recurring communication work that eats up an owner's evening. And under all of these skills, the small, repeatable moves, like drafting in your voice or building a specific report. That's the workflow reuse. You can also trigger them on their own. Our fictional shop for today is Fernbrook Plant Company, a small plant shop run by Jordan Mendez, booking QuickBooks style records, customer and HubSpot style CRM. One honest note before we proceed with the demos. I'm using exported files instead of live QuickBook and HubSpot connections. Partly so I'm not putting anyone's real books on YouTube, but also because, let's be real, half of you probably don't even use QuickBooks. Your books are live on a spreadsheet, so I'm meeting exactly where you are. However, if you happen to be a business owner or solo entrepreneur who does use HubSpot and or QuickBooks, you can easily add it as a connector here. So if you go over here and click on Customize, this menu will pop up, and then you go down here to Connectors, click on that, and then this is the Connectors page. And then if you go over here to Add, Browse Connectors, click on that, this menu will pop up. Over here in the search bar, if you search QuickBooks, click on Intuit QuickBooks, and then click on Connect, and you're all set. And obviously you'll do the same process for connecting HubSpot. One last thing I would like to do in here in the settings in general, this input box, instructions for Claude. In the last video, I had information regarding the previous business, Riverbend Coffee. I decided to remove that and put a brief description about Farmbrook Plant Company to give it greater context when running the Get Started prompt in a small business plugin we have installed. Now, you don't necessarily need to do this, but since I had removed Riverbend Coffee information, I decided to add this for better context. Alrighty, now that all that logistical stuff has been set up, let's run that Get Started prompt and see what we get. All right, now it's seeing Farmbrook's onboarding flow from when we set it up in the instructions. And notice down here, it says, I already know Farmbrook's basics from what you've done told me. Neighborhood plant shop, retail plus corporate plantscaping plus workshop, Jordan Mendez plus 3 part-time staff. Just a few more things to point Claude in the right direction first. So I like how it understands this from the context we gave it earlier in the settings. I'm going to scroll up here, and then we have some details to be set up. So it's asking a couple of questions here. So I'm just going to run through these. For this first one, I'm going to put stay organized. And it says, which of these do you already use day to day? I'm going to put Gmail. I want to add Google Drive as well because that is substituting QuickBooks and HubSpot is located. This says, how often should I check in? I'm going to put only ask when I ask. All right. So now it's thinking. It's locating the tools. Okay. Now here's the prompt. Now it's asking for the Gmail. And then it's asking me what folder I want to choose. So I'm going to choose a folder. I'm going to create a folder for Farmbrook. So right now it's just asking for Gmail. So let's connect Gmail. So I connected Gmail, and a couple of prompts are going to come up for you to give Claude permission to add Gmail. Just go and hit allow. There's about 2 to 3 pop-ups that will come up. All right, so it's asking a folder. So let's choose a folder. So I created a folder on the desktop that's just called Farmbrook. So it can access that folder and be able to do work in that folder. And now it's running some processes. All right, so it says set up folder structure. Okay, so we got some information here. It's asking me a question. Let's see, does this profile look right to save? Any headaches beyond setting organized? So it's asking some follow-up questions here that we can look into: the business, the size of people, type of headaches, staying organized, connected to desktop folder, Google Drive, weekly cadence, only when I ask. Okay, and now it says, does this profile look right to save? Any headaches beyond staying organized? I can also input some follow-up things. We'll put looks right, save as is, but we have these other options as well. We can check mark this and type in something that's unique that's not here. I'm gonna run look right as it is, so I'm gonna run this. And I'm gonna let it do its thing. So it says save every skill from here. We'll know Farmbrook setup. You're onboarded. We're all set up here so we can actually do work using this plugin. So one thing I want to do real quick as a follow-up prompt, I put here in the prompt, connect me to Google Drive. I want to make sure that the Farmbrook Google Drive is successfully connected, just so it can be able to go into my drive and reach for those files. So I'm gonna run this, and this is just more of a confirmation for myself than anything. Okay, it says good news, Google Drive is already connected. I used it earlier when you set up the folder, and it looks like you just connected to Gmail too based on the new tools available. Okay, cool. So that gives me confirmation. We can move on. Real quick, I just want to highlight a couple of things on my Google Drive. So inside my Google Drive, I have a folder called Farmbrook Files, and located in there are these files here. What I'm expecting now that's connected, Claude Cowork will connect to this and see these files and be able to do some work with them. First job, the business post. Every owner's Monday morning question, how are we doing? And you remember that morning brief tab on Anthropic's page? I'm using their own example prompt, just adapted the setup for Farmbrook. Pulling my cash positions, what's moving the customers, what is on the calendar, and all 3 things that need my attention today. Alrighty, let's run this prompt and see what we get back. Let's add some task list. It is doing this thing. It's connected to Google Drive. So here's the prompt that comes up. It says Claude wants to use search files on Google Drive. So let's see. I'll say allow once because I want to be in control of that. So the context here. And then again, Claude wants to search the files from Google Drive. I'm going to hit allow once. You notice over here is going through step by step setting up the process. All right, so Claude wants to use list recent files in Google Drive. So I'm going to hit allow on all of these. Everything I'm going to allow comes up. I'm just going to hit it. And then now it's going to connect me to my Google Calendar, which I thought we did earlier, but maybe we didn't. So let's connect that. You'll notice here that when you try to connect to Google Drive for the first time, this pop-up will show up, giving Claude permission to access your Google Drive, your Google Calendar, and your Google email. We will hit continue. And then from here, you want to hit select all, This is the information you're giving Claude Cowork to access. So I wanted to see all my downloads and edit, create, delete in my Google Drive. Hit select all whenever this pop-up comes up for full access. And then you'll hit continue. One other pop-up that will show up is, do you allow this website to open Claude? This is part of the OAuth process, so what you'll do is hit allow. And then while I'm here, now that's connected, I'm gonna hit Google Calendar here. So we'll connect that. Now we're back at this screen. So we need to choose the Google account to connect with. So we're gonna choose Jordan M right here. Then this pops up again. Again, it's just the OAuth system asking permission for Claude Cowork to access the Google Calendar. I'm gonna hit continue. Again, right here, we're gonna hit select all for all of these to be enabled because I want Claude Cowork to access my Google Calendar fully. So if I scroll down here, I'll hit continue. Do you allow this website to be open on Claude? I do, so I'm gonna hit allow. All right, so now both Google Drive and Google Calendar are connected as we speak. The process has stopped here, as you notice, because this is not spinning or not animating here. So what I gotta do is continue the process. Now that both the Google Drive and the Google Calendars are connected, I wrote a prompt here that says, I have connected Google Calendar or Google Drive. Please continue with the process. So I'm gonna run that. So I'm gonna hit allow. It's going through the Google Drive. Okay. So I'm gonna hit allow again. I'm gonna hit allow. It's updating the tasks here, as we can see over here on this corner. Okay, now it's writing some tasks here. And now it's creating a scheduled task. And I can see the request here once this gets built out. So I can go in further. So now it's placing in a scheduled task on my behalf for Monday morning brief. So I'm gonna hit schedule. And then that's going to schedule the task at 7 a.m. on Monday. Now look what comes back. Cash positioning, what's overdue, pipeline movement, this week's calendar, a one-page brief in plain English. And now the 7 a.m. report on a Monday while you take a morning coffee break. And now over here on the left side, confirm that Claude Cowork made the scheduled tasks. I can see the Fernbrook Monday brief. And also I can check the schedule option here. So if I click the schedule option here, I can confirm that the morning brief is there. So every Monday at 7 a.m. Then we can click into it and even edit it even further if we want to. So we can make this however we want, whenever we want. Also back at the scheduled tasks window here, we can also run this now, pause or edit or delete. I just want to highlight that since I ran through this a little fast. Next, the job everyone hates, chasing money. This one is adapted from the payroll tab on Anthropic's page. Rank the overdue invoices that could close my cash gap and draft a reminder email for each. Fernbrook has a handful of overdue invoices. All right, so let's give this a run and see what we get. Now it's loading the tools here. Cool, so here's the draft email that I was creating. So I'm gonna hit allow once for this. Just hit allow for all of these here. So it's creating all these draft emails for these different clients here. It has now found what was overdue, ranked it by amount and age, and then drafted the reminder emails. As far as the emails are concerned, nothing has been sent, and I can prove this. Now I'm in Jordan's Gmail account, so I'm gonna navigate over here to drafts. See? There they are, sitting as real drafts waiting on me. That is the human in the loop model doing exactly what it promised. I read them, I click approve, then they go. Awkward money conversations drafted for you. The final say is still yours. Okay, last one, and this one is adapted from the growth tab on Anthropic's page, which might be the best prompt in a whole page. Find a weak spot in the numbers, plan a promo, draft the assets, stage the send, and show me everything before anything goes out. That last part is the philosophy of this entire production in one sentence. Fernbrook Spring Repotting Workshop needs customers, 2 jobs and 1 run. Triage the newest lead in the CRM and draft a campaign to fill the workshop. All right, it's doing the typical stuff, so I'm gonna hit allow, just asking access for the Google Drive, then adding tasks, doing the steps. All right, you notice in the prompt that I had Canva in the prompt. So I do have a Canva account for Jordan that he can connect with, so we're going to connect now. Now this Canva window has opened up, just giving me permission to connect Cowork to Canva. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on continue with Google. All right, so now this pop-up comes up. Because I'm signed in to Canva with Google, I'm just going to connect it to the proper account. So this Jordan M, we'll click on that to continue. And then we'll hit click here to continue. Now this other Canva prompt comes up, basically saying Claude would like to access your Canva account. So I'm gonna scroll down and give it access. I'm gonna hit this allow button. We can confirm that it is connected to Canva because I have this little pop-up right here that says connected to Canva. And obviously here back at Claude, it has stopped the process because it cannot connect to Canva, but we have connected to Canva. So in this prompt here, I have successfully connected the Canva account to Claude Desktop. Please continue the process. So we're gonna give that a run. And so for the results it returns, we have the Canva drafts here. They've done an excellent job with these designs. So let's go by them one by one. Your plant has options. Let's fix its pot. Let's see this one. Your plant has opinions. Okay. Your plant has opinions. Let's fix its pot. So some clever marketing verbiage over here. So let's see this. Okay. This is looking good. And I didn't have to touch Canva. Claude did all of this. And then obviously we can open these in Canva if we like and edit them further. So we got score leads and draft emails, a morning marketing of work in minutes. From the data the business already had, 3 demos, same pattern every time. Pick the job, watch it work, approve the result. Here's the thing, running these workflows without giving Claude your business context can lead to some not so great outputs from Claude. If Claude doesn't know who firm work is, what you sell, how you talk, who your customers are, what are your prices, every draft sounds like a template because it is one. Here is the fix that takes one evening. Write your business basics into Claude Global Instructions or a project doc. Remember from last video, your offerings, your tone, your customers, your rules. That one document is the difference between generic AI mush and drafts that sound like you. You feed it once, every workflow gets smarter. And notice what you saw across all 3 demos every time the work touched the outside world. An email, a post, a payment. It stopped and asked me first. That's not a limitation, and it's not me being cautious with settings. It's the default in writing on the page we started from. You see which tool Claude is touching before anything runs, and by default, you approve every action. For a small business, that's the entire reason you can trust this with real tools. So my personal take, if you're already paying for Claude and you run your business on any of these 8 tools, turning this on is a no-brainer. The plugin costs you nothing but setup time, and if you're not on Claude yet, this is the strongest small business reason I've seen to start. But don't try to write up all these workflows this weekend. Here's how I start. Connect 2 tools, your books and your email. Write your business context docs. Then run exactly these 3 things for the next 2 weeks. Your weekly pulse, 1 finance workflow, 1 customer-facing draft workflow with approvals on everything. In 2 weeks, you'll know precisely which of the others are worth your time. And one more thing before we wrap up here. On the Anthropic's page, Anthropic is running a free in-person workshop for small business owners in cities around the country. Schedule it right here. And if there isn't one near you, there is a free online AI fluency course for small businesses, co-presented with PayPal. I'll vouch for that one personally. I've taken Anthropic's AI fluency training myself, and it is one of my certifications, and it's generally a good route if today feels like a lot. Both links are in the description. All right, let's lock it in. 1, it's a free plugin inside Claude Cowork, not a new subscription. 2, flip on the toggle, then type "Get Me Started." 3, 15 workflows across 6 departments, 15 skills underneath. 4, feed your business context first, or everything comes out generic. 5, nothing sends, posts, or pays without your approval. Your next step, flip that toggle on tonight. Connect 1 tool and run the business post. That first Monday brief is the moment this stops being an AI video you watch and starts being how your business runs. If this helps, subscribe. I make AI generally useful for small business owners, no jargon, daily. Grab the free 10 Cowork tasks cheat sheet in the description. Drop a comment telling me which of the 15 workflows you will run first. Now, today you saw Cowork with the plugin. Last time you saw Cowork alone. And some of you may be wondering, what about regular Claude chat? And what's Claude Code? Which one do I actually need? Next video answers exactly that. Chat versus Cowork versus Claude Code in plain English for small business and solo entrepreneurs. I'm Donovan. Write, build, scale. We'll see you at the next one.